Alright, so this one's a weird one. What if a black hole does manage to create a slight temporary with the ring, because that's what they use, even though for me, I don't really use that because it's a compression of space and time, not really a singular point or a ring at all. And it's not necessarily dimensions. I'd have to describe it at another time. Anyways, but it does allow for time and space to switch, and so you're reversing time. But it's only because it's falling towards, in its 3, 4, whatever dimensional capacity, however, in a ball, 360. But then in the inside of it, it switches over, and then it creates a small pocket internally that's a reverse of time. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you ever move anywhere. You have to remember that. Okay, so hold your horses. I have to frame this in a better way. Because it's a ball, but it's not a ball. Because it's still moving relative to the entirety of the universe. And so while it's necessarily speaking to us and our calculations and blah, 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 because we're so perfect and we're the greatest humans ever to be, and we'll never fucking figure things out that are even more accurate than we have now. And absolutely there's no way for us in any capacity to ever figure out how to look into a black hole, no matter how hard. We'll never get to it. It'll never be a thing. We'll destroy ourselves, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Okay? So let's just, hypothetically speaking, we get to the point that maybe we get there. And it turned out we weren't perfectly right about it. And it turned out it's not a ring. Turns out it's not a ball. We don't know. It could be many things. It could be a rotating gyroscopic fucking ringy thing. I don't give a shit. I don't care. That's what I'm trying to posit to people. Here's a thought experiment. It's a hypothetical. Imagine, if you will, you're falling inwards. And it seems to be constantly expanding more and more rapidly as it compresses space around you. But time, relatively speaking, for you in that instant isn't necessarily going much faster or slower, because for your relative time there, space has also been compressed. So it is traveling roughly the same speed. Even though externally, relatively, yes, this is an Einstein thing, we would see it as if they did slow down. And of course, there's the switch, which again, for them, will look very similar to them still traveling forward. But to us, it would appear as though they popped out of a black hole. But they never reach the point where they can go to the crossover point. So they get stuck at the real, actual, can't go back point. The event horizon isn't the event horizon. If you were able to make a wormhole or some crazy contraption that can reverse a little bit of your space and time dilation and compression, you'd be able to go in and you'd be able to come back out. You'd be able to exist inside that event horizon and seemingly not have any issues. Now, granted, we're talking lots of high-tech shit. Sure. But at the same time, it doesn't change. Get down, Furby. That's maybe theoretically possible. By effectively making an Albuquerque drive and then going out. I'm expanding space and time one way, and I'm compressing it the other way, and I'm reversing time another way. Reversing in the sense that I am simply reducing the amount of effect of entropy has on my environment inside of the bubble I am in. So you could get out feasibly. By going in, you could do it. Now, these are all advanced high-tech concepts, blah, 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 blah stuff. Something we'll probably never really have, right? But where I'm getting at least in our lifetime, is what they say, maybe not. You never know. But what I'll tell you is this. So there's a crossover point. But for them, it's not. They'd never know. Time and space is very different there. And in fact, they're always moving forward. And so as it got to the point where there is apparently in your math, and no offense to your math, I don't care. Your math is based upon the best observations we have, which we know aren't perfect. So stay with me a little. It's good math, but we're lacking data, obviously. Okay? Now, as it goes towards the center, it has a crossover point that reverses but then collapses towards its own center. And that is its real point. Its real core. There isn't an exit. It's just that. It'll look like a ball, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't know. It could be many, many, many tiny little fucking balls. I wouldn't know. But what I'm trying to tell you is that time reversing, quotation marks, from the relative perspective is not necessarily what's going to happen. We just think it does. Quantum relativity is still going to be a thing. It doesn't go away just because you're like, nah, I didn't look at it. Considering we already know for a fact with our satellites, using the best tech we have to measure as accurately entropy as we can, we know it changes relative to others. We have proven pretty darn well quantum relativity still sticks around. And so, as you head towards it, that's for the sake of your mathematical argument, it's still a ring. To make you feel better. Because your fifis are clearly hurt and you're getting defensive. The toroidal ringy thing. Sure. Since pedanticness is what we need here. Not people to understand. We need pedanticness. It matters tremendously. All right. So moving forward. As the ball heads towards the center, towards the ring, towards this movement, because conservation of momentum is still a thing, and so it should still spin. But there's nothing in any way suggesting that conservation of momentum is only on one particular plane or in one particular orbital field. Which is to suggest it creates a pocket dimension, is probably what they'll say. But that's not what I'm suggesting. No, I'm going with, hey, it still collapses to what is fundamentally still a really, really, really jumbled up set of freaking particles and fields in a really small area relative to the entirety of the size of everything there. And yes, technically it reversed itself to the point where it was still around and doing something. To last ditch effort the shit out of itself. Is what it would seem. Because time reversed. Actually, no, I'm still moving forward. No. No, that's not what happened. You reversed. No, I'm still heading towards that point. No, you're not. Yeah, I am. I'm definitely doing that. You can't lie to that. I am for sure doing this. Who says I'm not? And then the point is reached. Now, what does the point look like? I'm not sure, but for me, in quantum thermodynamics, it basically is going to look like a ginormous inward flow that punctures a little bit of a never-ending expanding area that, from our perspective, is always going to look the same size. But it's never-endingly expanding and never-endingly stays the same size for whatever relative mass it happens to have. And that's based upon the fact that we are still accelerating. Which is a dimensional quality it will probably have, although everything has a dimensional quality, so I feel like that's irrelevant. Now, what it is to say is, it's kind of like an inward flow particle accelerator. As it accelerates and smashes the heck out of it, it punctures into the foam zone, going into potential land that happens to suggest, I might get somewhere. Back up, because there's more energy here and too much density for what it is it happens to hold in its given area. But where the fuck does that go? And you have to remember, everywhere. It's a tunnel machine. Pretty much. And it's like, but it's a point. And I'm like, no. See, it's a concept that makes no sense to us everyday people. It's a ball that is a drain in every way. Every which way you look at it, it drains into the foam zone, tunneling itself out. Because it can't possibly stay wherever it is. Why? Why not? Do you think there's too much shit around? It's too dense. It's too freaking pressured. Too much energy. It has to go somewhere. And since it can't rebound, it did the one thing it can do, which is tunnel the heck out to somewhere. Wherever it'll have it. And that's all it does, because of that reversal of time ball area, I suppose we're to go with. It happens to consistently always tunnel somewhere. But where can it do that? And it's like, so the foam zone isn't necessarily something that we understand why it exists, and how long and how many different things might be going on everywhere around us, like its own version of a radiation, affecting our standard model ever so slightly more or less, depending. But is it radiation? And it's like, Probably not. Because there's nothing at all to suggest it somehow can reverse itself. It's just pouring a lot where it is. But for those things that are in potential land, it's way too much energy, way, way, way less dense, and it simply can't sustain existing in a buoyancy kind of state in comparison to everything else around it. And so it'll pop up wherever the hell it can, really. But during that pop-up process, what do you expect to see? A breakdown, a field change potential. Particles can't stay particles all the time. There's a lot of energy pushing itself. All of a sudden it's going into what is essentially the least dense state it's ever going to be. It compressed itself as dense as it could to the point where, what do you know, it's kind of able to exist in the foam zone in potential land. Just dense enough. Now, it can't stay there, obviously. And it's a lot easier to suddenly move this thing that for a brief period of time it says, no, I'm not really that energetic or massive. No, I'm not. I'm going to trade some of that mass and I'm going to trade some of that energy for moving the heck out of the way. Yeah, let me go over here. Boop. And what do you get? A generation of gravitational fields. That is correct. Just like I said in the past, in some of my other recordings and podcasts, it is a converter that makes the majority of its energy get converted just to gravitational fields. As it springs forth back in, it makes a big puff and an amplification of gravitational fields. That's really all it can do. Why? Because it's really hard to freaking tunnel really long distances without entangling or superpositioning anything. And so it can't really reasonably do that very well at all. And when it's so dense and the pressure now no longer exists in comparison to where it once was, it explodes like a fissile event for fucking quarks and stuff, making gravitational field energy the illusion of mass. Because bosons can't stay around forever. That's right, bosons will break apart too into fields. But it's not a string. You see, a string is a wrapped up type, kind of looking like a DNA thing. That's not what we have here. Sorry. It's just a lot of stuff compressed. And it goes, I guess I'll look like I'm a real boson. But I'm not a boson. I can't be a boson. I'm all of these things together. I don't have any limits to how small I... Oh, yeah, no, there's a limit right there. And quark field limits are now on play. That's right. Quark field limits. The Lemke limit. Sure, time looked for us like it was reversed. To it, it never does, because it's traveling in a direction regardless of what our perspective says. But for a brief little while, it goes, yeah, I guess I'm sort of a thing. And it collapses. Sorry, no. You're not a Big Bang. I don't care how big you get, black hole. Your gravity ain't that good. I extended past infinite gravity. I made quarks, sucker. Gluons and bosons and all the ons and orcs and stuff. You think I'm done? I had to surpass all that stuff. You're nowhere near the level of weight I was under. Because it's like, we think it's infinite, but like, because they don't know, but it's got to be something, but it ain't going to be a black hole no matter how massive it is. But it's like, our theories say it's a ring. You should shush. Fine, it's in a ring inside of the ring. Whatevs. And there you go. It's like, why would you propose this? And I'm like, because there's nothing saying you're right. At all. A bunch of numbers and math on observations of something you barely even thought was a thing until for sure the 90s. You debated it for 30 years. Until you were like, that's definitely black hole. And then they were like, quantum stuff says this. After like, you barely got further with the quantum stuff. We finally were like, the theory of a boson's real. We're now 2023 here, and I'm like, I'm done playing with you. Your math is not sound. You should feel bad. Stop arguing for a freaking thing that clearly was not in any way going to be this. At all. You know, we have a lot of top scientists that say quarks might not be the last stop. We just haven't gotten to the point where we know how to, like, break them apart. Yeah, gee, you know, maybe we can hold off on that one. Just gonna let you know, I don't like black holes on Earth. Yeah, just letting you know. Got a black hole here that's finally breaking some quarks down. Yeah, I'm good. Bye. I don't wanna. I'm cool. They're gonna be like, it's the last stop. There's nothing past quarks. There's no way. I'm like, I'm tired of that. I'm done. Yeah. I know for a flippin' fact that that doesn't make any sense at all. It's literally illogical. There's no way that works. But it's like with our best guess and observational evidence that you could throw out because it's like not going to show anything like that. Because first off, I don't want black holes in my fucking like place where I'm alive and exist. You know? That's what I'm saying. I don't want it. Stop it. Stop trying to make me freaking make... That's why it's illogical and unreasonable. I've talked about this. It's like you're asking for like you know logic and reason. And you for sure understand that that's a thing. It sounds reasonable and logical, but it's not. You're basically making people tiptoe to the edge of a cliff and go, you're chicken for not jumping. I see what you're doing. Shut up. We know it's not reasonable. We know it's not logical. Be quiet. And you're not the first one to freaking go around saying dumb stuff like that. You got your ceremonies and rituals all the way back to the freaking stupid, what was it, a woolly mammoth thing. Go attack this big thing. Be powerful. That's so big. It's like, then it's the government or the society or God or whatever the frickin' crap you want it to do and be. So that way, oh yeah, no, that'll screw everything up. And oh, we're going to get to be destructive. We'll be kings. Destroy all of our stuff. Be inefficient. Don't make too much power. All that stuff. Go over there and attack and then never freaking figure out how to do even more and more with what you already have. Never do that. No. Never amplify processes from multiple sources. No, don't do this. Never turn your trash into actual power. No. Just be destructive. Let me control you. Let me freaking egg you on to reduce your likelihood of seeing through the lies that I am giving to you and the delusions I present in a reasonable seemingly and logical seemingly manner. Let me do that. It sounds like it could be a thing. Maybe I should. Oh, wait a second. Let me do some quick looking at that before I do something. Let me think for a second. Let's not rush into... No, rush. No, hold off. I'm not going to rush onto that. Listen to me. I know what's going on. And it's like, no, I'm good. Bye. Let me pretend I am the king here. I am God. You will bow down to me, subjects, and go after whom I tell you, because you need it. I have placed a great deal of pressure, societal, because there's a lot. I have placed a great deal of pressure internally, because I have raised you to believe a bunch of idiotic beliefs. To not see what's going on clearly. Make you rush and run forever, scared. To not be able to see what's happening. And give yourself a chance to think. I have made you anxious and stressed, suicidal, depressed, traumatic as fuck, isn't it? Traumatized, indeed. I have presented you with all this seemingly good evidence, but the more you break it down, the worse it gets. Less and less variables for more and more ideas that this is what's going on. Not enough real work, and you're claiming some big claims, and you got money and enough people to back it, as if it meant something. And then, I'm going to defend my tribal way of life. The peer pressure says to me I must. I shall not change my ideas on this, even though I know it's likely that they're wrong. That's normal. Never do something different. But we must vouch for them. Why is it that it's impossible for me to get funding to try and learn about this? Why is it impossible for me to talk about this without people yelling and screaming all the time? Why is it seemingly that I'm getting dirty looks and more? And people leaving and creating havoc in my life to prevent me from doing something? Gee, that's a tip-off and a half, isn't it? Seems like something's there. Know what I'm saying? And that's how it's built up from the start. And the people that know and get taught and played by the rules to get out of being able and having to play by the rules are still for sure a thing. Not just billionaires and millionaires or socialites and influencers. There's nothing saying at all people can't basically get together. But is it a conspiracy? Because if you really look at that, we're the authority. What's the difference between me and you? If I get a bunch of people to sign a piece of paper and we all agree and we're a government and then we're not going to attack you or anything, but you know what? We even pay them some money from our stuff, resources that we get. And we agree to these rules. And we're, in an area, but you have all that area, so what's the difference? And we agreed that this is acceptable, but you didn't, so what's the difference? And next thing you know, the concept of a government is all a theater again. It's a bunch of people that had money to influence someone to do things, to enforce stuff. And then we're going to continue to perpetuate that. We know what's kind of going on here, don't we? We have money, we have power, we have control, we have influence. We understand that if we talk to them like this and we do this and blah, 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 and then if we go behind the closed doors like the black people did and the frickin' gays and the lesbians and so on and try and do things to try and change the shape of our society, we can get people to believe a whole bunch of dumb stuff. As if it's reasonable and logical. As if that's how you should think. What does that mean, really, when you break that down, huh? It's like, are we talking about a bunch of them? It's like, no, but you don't really necessarily need to have them talk all the time. They kind of get it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, I know what that guy's doing over there in that group. Like, he's thinking like this. I mean, I'm going to make a video like that, let's say I'm a YouTuber. I'm an influencer, I'm a YouTuber. Hypothetical here. I know that guy makes similar videos to me, and this is a big thing that seemed to be a thing on my feed or whatever, right? I know he's probably I'm going to edit like that. And it's like, what stops intelligence organizations, corporations that have large amounts of fucking data, then not even data, because you still have paramilitary, which is still a thing I didn't even know about until recently. And then other science communities, influencer communities, and so on. And it's like, I kind of get what they're doing over there. I kind of get, and same thing with the economy when it comes down to stock markets. We're not insider trading, but then, are we kind of not, though, doing that? It's like, no, it's legal, it's fine. We make the rules, it's good. And we've already known about those leaks. We've already known about all that stuff. Now, how much is it that you think at that point that you realize you weren't in any way something special? You ever think about that? Like, for real. Why is it that they would stick around and be like that? They're not going to do it. I mean, I definitely have the money and power, and truthfully, nothing's going to stop me. They're all doing it too. And no one cares. And it's actually wanted by everyone. No one's going to stop it. And it's like, we don't want things progressing too fast, you dummy. We like money. We like power. We like influence and control. And it doesn't take much to frickin' make someone do that, does it? Hey, sprinkle some ideas of it's because of this culture or societal idea, peer pressure. make a couple posts. You hit them with a couple of, around the area. Here's some money. Go hit them with this feed, that kind of thing. Hey, viral this. We're looking to change that. We want to make this money over here for this stuff we want to sell. We want this science to be proceeded forward. And your whole life's very much controlled. And you debate and you rage on and you keep pretending as if in any way they're reasonable and logical. Like they make fucking sense. But they don't. It sounds like they make sense, and I'll try for a while, but then they know what they're doing. They know they're just waiting. They're just trying to get you to the destruction part. They're just trying to ruin your ability to have any say. So they can take over everything for the conversation. So they're the big ones. So where is it that you end up going with the whole black hole thing? You need a bunch of evidence and all of this. That would likely kill all of humanity if you did it. Unless you could fill some kind of a different experimental sheet and propose it to a bunch of people that don't even want to change and definitely don't want to not at all continue being the authority in the big dogs. What makes you suggest to yourself and others that that would be not the case? Coming up into this, believing in the best of people, sorry, they prey upon you. A lot. You're naive. You don't understand what's going on. That's why they like autistic people. You're real easy to fool. You don't really quite grasp when someone's lying, so even a bad liar can get away with a lot. And they're usually smart enough and fixated, and they'll do their job for a long time. Make too much of a wave, they'll get rid of you. They'll blacklist you and they'll run you out. That's right, Furby. They are. It's my cat. They give you presents. Make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Make you have money, influence, suddenly appear. They didn't do it directly, so it wasn't a bribe or a gift. It's not hard. You're smart enough to know. Yeah, isn't that right? Come on. Did you really think I wasn't aware of that? That's why I'm like, okay, so what is it that you're really trying to tell me? You're trying to argue for something that doesn't make sense? You're trying to pretend that even further that you want anything that they want? You want to die like them? You want to keep pretending and play by the rule bullshit? Take high roads? High roads? What roads are there but fucking underground? Nothing gets done and presented in media or history without having it go underground. To the point where it popped up if it was really revolutionary, to take on the status quo? You think we progressed in science and tech that would have upended bunches of monopolies and oligarchies and more? There would be a government collapse somehow without enough people willing to topple it by playing underground. I don't understand you. You're fighting a real problem here. Stop playing like it's fucking goddamn recess. You need to understand, if you really want to fucking change something, you gotta play dirty, just like them. There isn't really a way to do it otherwise. The idea of death? What drives you? There's a reason why most of them head that way. They get more than enough money, they have more than enough power, they got all the stuff. I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about that. Why should I? I play nice. Gobble up what I need to. You know what I'm saying? Am I willing to go all the way back to being homeless and frickin' have nothing? Because that's what they'll do. I myself have experienced it. It's not hard to do that. They really believe it is, but it's not. And you're talking about a conspiracy. Not really. It's legal. They're the authority. It's sanctioned, whatever you want to call it. It's not even official shit. Or is it? What do they need to do? Who do they need to pay? What do they need to call? Come on, man. How hard is it to lie? How hard is it to pretend? No one's going to call you on your shit here anyways. Do you really know in any way how fucking stupid you are, suggesting that that's something crazy? It's crazy to assume you're right. Literally, you're one of them now. I sound reasonable and logical. I sound reasonable and logical now. There's a conspiracy. Oh my God, it's so big. It's just impossible for them. Oh my God, I'm stupid as fuck saying this. I'm smart, and in every way, it's not possible for them to do this. There would be trails, logs, and fucking other shit they can delete online. In many different service, I mean, they have backdoors. They have the fucking internet service providers freaking meeting in their own meetings. Here's some money. Yeah, delete that shit for me. Go delete it. No more friggin' logs. Let's just delete her emails and everything. It's like, yeah, they can definitely do that. Zero it out. It's gone. What are you really suggesting to me? How idiotic you are if you don't believe that? You're not getting me on that one. I'll tell you that much. How stupid can you be? Do you even understand? That you laughed along and tried to argue with them, the ones getting paid to screw you over from progressing anything in any way they don't want it to be. As if they don't know what they're doing. Are you really singing the same tune as them. Do you understand you're not on the same side as your enemy in that frickin' work environment you're in? Huh? Do you not understand where you are? How little you matter. How easy it is to remove you. And it just takes time. That's correct. And everybody pretty much just goes along with the plan. It's not hard to do that. And then the naive ones, blissful ignorance. I don't know. I don't want to know. I know nothing. Just gonna let the camp be run. I'm just a guard. And that's the truth. So it's like, we need to progress. And I'm like, you need to progress? Who gives a crap about that? How stupid do you think you are? Not stupid, I bet. You need to progress? That's what you're going to ask? Come on, man. So it's like, okay, whatever. Let's get back to the black holes. Let's talk amongst ourselves on a hypothetical if it was a thing. A thought experiment. Let's say it's maybe a possibility. Let's just run with a maybe possibility. Let's say, if you can entertain maybe possibilities, I think you can maybe consider yourself a little more intelligent than the next. Flat out refusal is not exactly very smart, is it? So, the maybe possibility that upon enduring this reversal, which really isn't much of a reversal, if you really break that down, and it's not an acceleration, it's a conversion. It converts what is essentially compression, because you can't do it no more, and acceleration, because you can't do it no more, into mass reduction? No, it can't do that no more. So what can it do? It gets rid of a boson. Right? It removes the idea. It illusions out a mass. It's converting mass to the idea of density. It converts. It removes mass. It can't be there. It can't. Can't have mass. That's the only way it has to be able, to exist. It can't do anything other than try and accelerate, but it can't accelerate. There's nowhere to accelerate. So what does it do upon the removal of mass? It converts it into space for it to move into. A boson gets removed. Mass is gained, but it's not. Mass can't be gained. It's fucking boson. So what does it do? And it can't exist for very long. You know that. It's under a lot of pressure and a lot of speed. And it can't go any direction. It all travels really one direction together. Anything that falls in there. So it bumps around into itself. And mass can't really just be mass. You know what I mean? The idea of mass. I'm a boson. I give things mass. But I can't give myself mass. That's not what works. I can't do that. So what do you think occurs? You can't just make the idea of me go away. Dude, so what can I be doing? They're like, dude. And he goes, well, you could really be close together and, densify and jiggle. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't really touch myself, dude. You know that. I'm not an anti-boson in boson. Sorry, just bosons. So it's like, I can't do that. No. No. Plus, you're giving me all this energy and nowhere to move, and I can only go closer and closer, closer and closer, and closer and closer, and closer, and closer and closer, and denser, and more friction and more energy, more spin fields, more charge fields, more electromagnetic, more gravitational. What can I really do here? There's definitely going to be some interactions, I'm pretty sure. I exist long enough to do something. I'm going to dump my energy into creating what is essentially vacuum quantum style. I'm going to be a vacuum. That's all I can be. I can't really be here. Sorry, what do you expect from me? I'm literally the definition of the quantum arena's version of space. This is what they pretend it is. It's quantum vacuum pressure. Look, I'm holding you up, quantum vacuum pressure. I am the densest vacuum. There is no way for me to be more dense. I am the biggest density a vacuum could be. I shouldn't even exist. You're just space for me to fill, dude. You big old hole. What do you think you doing over there? I'm coming for them holes. Because I am now the illusion of being a massive dense particle or atom or anything else. I can't. Even fields get compressed. Because there's not enough space. So what is it I can do? Hypothetically. Well, I'm a big old fieldy McFielderson. I'm spinning around. I got a lot of freaking energy going through me. Interactions from particles I normally never interact with. I'm existing for actual lengths of time. That means stuff's going to happen for sure. He's like, what is this? Is this an empty place for me to go into? What are you? Holy, what the frickin'? Where did that quark come from? Where are you? I'm losing my mind. Am I a particle or a frickin' field? Because why not, right? Why wouldn't it do that? Of course it's interacting enough to the point where, I'm so small and dense as a field, I might as well be a particle. Why wouldn't I be? I'm vibrating, I got the energy and interacting. Why am I not a friggin' particle? Why wouldn't I be? Huh? You get it? So it's like, alright, we got fields. Well, yeesh. Yeah, you got a lot of fields. You got all the fields. Yeah, because quantum fields don't just disappear. Do you not know that? Quantum fields are still a thing, dude. Every which way you can imagine, all the ups and arounds and whatevers. So it's like, what am I going to tell you? That I'm not a particle? You're interacting me over and over and over again with Do you get it? Do you see how that happens to work, that little end point? I want you to understand that logic right there. Because, you're interacting me all around with. Because you have reversal of time, quotation marks. It jumps forward. The width isn't there. Oh, no, it's there. It's just really, you wouldn't understand. See, you're a weirdo that lives in intrapedic places, like time is that way. That's not what's going on here. Get out of here. What do you think you're doing? Pretending that I'm not doing this? And that's what it does. Obviously you're not. You're not there. You're not there. You're not. I'm delusional. I get it, but you're not. You're not there. You're not. It's not a thing. Gunk. Ow. Okay, you're a thing. So as it loses mass, which it's like, well, it's the most concentrated amount of mass it can have, isn't it? It's all the mass right there, ready for you to just rip out every single time, huh? Yeah, and it's like, is it novel particles? I'm like, nah, why would there need to be? Why would there need to be exotic matter or energies? That doesn't make sense. There's not enough energy for that at all. Get that out of here. Stop proposing such inane, insane, obviously trying to make up for your lack of knowledge of the basics. Of the math and physics we already have. Why don't you make a fucking solution with what we already know? Stop trying to be unique and special. You're like everyone else. Normal. Yeah, so-called genius. Get a load of that guy, am I right? That's who you work with. Ew. So, we're talking about quantum tunnel now, right? And it's like, no quantum tunnel. Fields are now particles. Fields that would never be a particle for us. It's a freaking conversion field that sticks around because bosons are converted into a field too. But it's not a mass field because it's actually got stuff there constantly existing. What kind of stuff? Tell us about the stuff. Gluons? Quarkities? The ups or downs? I'm like, you're an idiot, aren't you? Those are broken down. They don't have mass. What are you talking about? I just told you that it's breaking down quarks and frickin' bosons and all the rest. You idiot. What gluon? Why would it have a gluon? What are you freaking talking about, you idiot? Ooh, anger. Freaking stupid can you be? I just told you in the beginning. So it's like, alright, gluons, quarks, upsa, lepton, what the, who gives a crap? Who cares? That's all out the window. That's a particle accelerator extraordinaire, break myself apart as much as I can, I'm as dense as could be. I'm a bunch of fields that basically don't even make sense. You've never even played around with me. Gravity? I'm such a compressed gravity field, I don't even know if I'm gravity anymore. I'm a particle. What are you kidding? I'm the definition of what you used to be, boson. Sink further into my quantum vacuum space. That's now very large. Because it's, well, technically speaking, always expanding. Isn't it? because it moves. It's like a wormhole, almost, except it's a wormhole to itself, isn't it? But it's not really a wormhole if you really break that down. At all. In any way. Because everything's quantumly tunneling as it spins in its toroidal form around the ring, corkscrewing backwards and forwards, trying its best not to smash. And I'm still able to go towards that. Yeah, but you're never gonna get here. Meanwhile, anything that's there, you boom, you stupid bastard! Who put you there? Frickin' stupid, frickin' quantum phone quasi-particle BS crap. A vacuum particle field, whatever the... God, fucking stupid. It's... Oh, God, it fucking ripped parts of me off, you bitch. Does that make sense? I can pop in. Just because it's dense doesn't mean it's as dense as me. I'm quantum foam. I'm quantum freaking fields. I'm every which way in all the places. I'm a big old vacuum. All the time. Looking for just the right kind of jiggle to go away. And that's all you need. Isn't it? Because, if you look at it, as it comes in, if you really break that down, it never really comes in. Because it's never really ever able to go in. You know what I mean? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. For those that actually know about quantum stuff. That I know about your little, quantum vacuum space is always expanding. So technically it has to outrun the acceleration past the velocity of and acceleration of the universe, which is past the speed of light right now for us. So, if we take that into consideration, we have a ring here, since you're going with ring. Meanwhile, me, it's a ball. It's spinning in all the freaking dimensional aspect ways. And you just refuse to use that math because it's real, real hard and I don't understand. That's what it seems like to me. But what else? Okay? Still in the hypotheticals. So now we have a field that is not really a field, it's a particle. But it's not really a particle because at that dang point, it's more of a ball. It's the atmosphere itself. It's converting the heck out of things. Because, truthfully, it's still going to accelerate. Well, you used to have mass. Sure, you're really dense, but you have no mass no more. In fact, I'm taking even more. Whatever I can take, I'm going to take from you. As you squeeze more. Densify even further. Head towards that ever-expanding space there, quantum vacuum arena. Go on. Go on, do it. And what do you know? You get a bunch of accelerated parameters, don't you? As they head towards each other, towards the center. But it's like... And it's like, exactly. It's always expanding. Always. Every time it's expanding. It will never get to the point where you ever hit each other. At all. An ultimate tease, some would say. And it's like, it's forever infinite, isn't it? And it's like, no. No. You see, it can't exist there. Things still pop in. Fields still exist. There's a lot of energy that it wants to freaking have. I used to have bosons. I'm still alive. Just because I don't have bosons, all of a sudden I'm not a thing, huh? You think that's a thing? I'm still a thing. Oh, I don't have mass. Bull. I'm still here. Your fields are not here. Ooh, yes, let me jiggle around. Pop. Ooh, what are you? Dunk. Ow. As I accelerate fast as I can possibly accelerate. But how fast is that really? You have to remember, if you go with your little ringy ring, toroidal whatevers, it's always squeezing inwards. It's always spinning. It's always going to corkscrew both ways. That's how it has to work for it to support itself. There, compadre. It doesn't work without that. You get that, right? It has to have an outward and an inbound. That's how it has to do it. Because there's an outward for the centrifugal forces. Or maybe you forgot about basic fucking physics. Or are you lame brain in the membranes, eh? Not insane enough like the clown posse you pretend to be in, eh? Maybe, eh? Let's think about this for a second. We go with their, whatever that theory is. We'll go with that. They're hypothetical. Got some math, but really, realistically, it doesn't really make any darn sense to believe in any way that that's what that is. But sure, we'll go with it for right now. Because you're the current big reigning societal champions. Lots of peer pressure. So, as there's an outward bound, why does it have to spin corkscrewy between each other? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. What is the best way to provide a stable section in any fluid dynamic burning ring? Do you know how dolphins make their bubble rings? Do you know why it is they do that? Now, imagine, if you will, you had two competing forces. One outward bound, but it can't go outward bound. There's no outward bound. It doesn't exist. There's no outward. Eh? But there has to be. It can't support itself. It keeps collapsing. You know that, right? Well, yeah. But why does it corkscrew? My God. Getting to it, but sure, why not? Just interrupt like that. Sure. Let's just keep thinking that. Eh? So, there's nothing in any way saying, at all, that there isn't a drain in the center of your ring. Because that's what it has to do. Eh? Eh? Hey, wake up in there. Hey. You in there? They're knocking your head and helping you? Yeah? Hey. Hey. You thinking about it yet? There's a freaking hole in your ring. Now, as two competing circles of corkscrew go around each other, what do you see in electromagnetic electron AC lines? They cancel each other out. Correct, except really what do they actually do? They compress in outward bound pressure. They collapse, but they don't collapse. They can't collapse. There's no collapse. But they certainly can go push in a never-ending empty arena, seemingly never-ending. But they can't do that, right? How does that work? Because something's collapsing around them. You have to have them collapse and push inwards. Now, the best example we have of this these days is with an AC wrapped around Tesla coil. That's right. It's a weird one, but it's basically what that is. You take a Tesla coil, you have one go one way, you have the other go the other way, but instead you make sure, because this is going to be the difference here, remember, we're talking about effects of electromagnetics with particles that are not really copper lines, that do things a lot differently, because if you don't know, fields like gravity are particles. They're trapped little fucktards, effectively. You know, those things that you said couldn't exist, little gravitons and so on. Well, they're things now. But it's not another particle. Still just fields. Sorry. Didn't just suddenly turn into a graviton. I'm still just a really small, really highly compressed, interactable field, bro. Maybe you forgot that part, huh? Huh, Yosa? So, you take those two, they typically cancel out outward, and effectively one direction is really pretty much inward and outward, meaning side to side kind of cancels itself out. But you're wrong thinking that that's all it'll do. Because we don't just have the one. We have another wraparound ring. This is the inner core of the ring, you dummy. You big stupid. That's what's going on there. It's accelerating still, you stupid. That, outside of your toroidal ring, because apparently you can't conceptualize in a third dimension, dumbass, is still there. And it's like, it's outward bound, right? If I had a time for every time. Gravity's now interacting with that. Electromagnetism, the field of all the particles. What am I potentiating myself? Nuh-uh. Yeah, no. You wouldn't get it either. Come to me. So I have to explain this delicately. Gluons, quarks, and more are now getting interacted with a graviton, quotation marks. It's a quasi, it's kind of a thing. It's not really. It's just a field, bro. Get over it. But it's not just any field. You have to remember, it's spinning. Ripping at the frickin' edges of the frickin' gravitons that compress it in. And accelerate and shoot shit into it. Passing through, ripping bosons on out. But why would they do that? Gee, I wonder. Why the hell would they stay together to begin with? They have so much frickin' torque on them. Acceleration and like the tiniest little Planck lengths would be the difference between massive gravitational difference is that don't even make sense to us normal human people. Are you kidding me? I'd be explodified. And this is magnetism? That makes no sense at all. What? Magnetism? Is this magnetism? Oh my god, it's probably not. It's a charge difference at that point, wouldn't it be? With magnetism combining together with some gravity at their boundary layers, creating a filter, if you will, squeezing it through, trying to get that orange juice, you know? As it grinds and pulpifies everything into it, trying to get it in. Again, they do. And I'm like, yeah, you thought, didn't you? I'm not gonna freaking keep having this charge neutral. Give me whatever I can to be neutral now. Bosons, go, leave me. What are you, posies? Fuck off. Go combine with yourself, you idiots. Oh, I can't. But that negative sure is nice. And what the heck? I'm so dense I couldn't begin to describe how dense I really am. Wait, am I dense? There's no way I'm dense. How am I dense? What? No! That can't be possible. No. No. No, I can't be dense. I'm being squeezed as hell, sure, but I got like all this freaking quantum vacuum space stuff that's always there, that's always kind of just expanding inside of me at all times, right? My fields! What are you doing to my fields, baby? Where are you taking my fields? My field strengths are disappearing. I'm so weak. Wait a second. What the heck? I'm really getting pretty sure I'm basically right around here, aren't I? You know, I can't really quite recall when I was so exactly where I am. For sure. And relative to all of these things around me, there's no way I'm not. I'm for sure not going to be able to do any of that. I can only really kind of do that. That's the only place I can do anything and go at all. I can't really jiggle or move like I used to. Why could I? I don't have no strength no more. I don't have any vibrations, baby. Oh man, my strength's leaving me. I got no puff, got no huff. Ugh. Maybe you're picking up what I'm trying to give you in layman's terms. You're heading closer and closer under pressure, regardless of the so-called kinetic heat bullshit you believe is kinetic heat. It's energy transferred. That's all that is. Well, you know, you're kind of not able to do that no more. There's no absolute zero, but you're getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, aren't you? Well, you remove more and more of my field. Less and less possibility. Lots of less possibility. There's so much shit around. How do you expect me to believe that's a possibility? Why is it there? You think I could go, idiot? So, now we're going to convert. Because I can't really be with you. Neutral, I want neutral, I want neutral. Where's my neutral? Wait a second. I can't do that. I'm a quark. I have to go pee. Give me a second.